Hey everyone, welcome back to Eat the Cake Anime. I'm your host, Jay Renee.
And I'm her husband and producer, Ron.
Oh my god, producer Ron is already getting on my nerves early, but you know what? We're going to bypass that and we're going to get right into this. We're still on popular animes of the day, and one of the reasons why anime has grown in popularity. We've been talking about that for a couple of weeks now. So what we're focusing on today is not considered anime because it was done by a foreign studio that wasn't Japanese and wasn't US. So we're going to talk today about Arcane.
Yeah.
Arcane is based on a game, is it not?
Yes, it is. It's based on a video game that, a lot of people know and love, League of Legends, which is kind of based off of something back in the day called World of Warcraft, which is still played now.
Did you say World of Warcraft was something back in the day?
World of Warcraft's been around for a while.
It's been around for a while. Isn't it still going on now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, go ahead. Riot Games, League of Legends.
Well, basically, it's a spin-off from that. And
Right.
they brought it into this American-made anime series. And guys, this is great.
Yeah, it actually is. And I know we say it actually is a lot because a lot of times we're pleasantly, I can't even get it out.
Yeah, pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, about how some of these things work out. So Arcane, like producer Ron said, it's based on Riot Games, the League of Legends and the League of Legends universe. And it actually focuses on two sisters. Now there are the twin cities of Zaun and Piltover. So Zaun is like the underground, like the slums kind of, hardcore, whatever people just, scratching and surviving.
The ghetto.
Yeah, and then you have Piltover. Piltover is where the elites live. Everything is pristine. Everything is clear, and we want you to thrive, and our citizens are important. That type deal. So basically, Arcane is about the twin cities of Piltover and Zaun, and the civil war that is coming, and the two sisters,
V and Jinx.
Violet and Jinx, or Powder, Vi and Powder or whatever. So these two sisters, they're on opposite sides of the war. They have opposite ideals and things of that nature that kind of clash and affects everything and everyone basically in these cities.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Listen, the thing that got me, you guys, was the steampunk theme. Like everything, you're mixing magic with technology.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things about this. Mixing the magic with the technology, and we still have that steampunk element, and people are just so cool and knowledgeable, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way in the beginning. The first season, it actually came out in 2021, and it was great. What rubbed me the wrong way was how they did the character development of Powder, later known as Jinx.
Okay.
She was the younger sister, very smart, very scientific mind. You had Vi, or Violet, who's otherwise the tough cookie, taking care of her sister, being very familiar with what's going on, down in Zaun. She's a fighter, she's very tough and all this other stuff. Then you have Jinx, or Powder. Something happens, and then it just kind of sets Powder's world topsy-turvy, and that's how, without giving too much away, that's how the girls ended up on opposite sides of the fight.
And not to mention too much more about V and Jinx, let's talk about Jace. Jace is basically this genius scientific creator who, let's talk about it, started out in the slums.
And he ended up in Piltover, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, him and his cohort Victor,
Oh, Victor.
they started off, scientific geniuses. They were making all these great advancements.
With a dream, just kind of, doing it for the love of science.
And somewhere along the lines, Jace was introduced to magic. And when he was introduced to magic, his whole world was exploded. Everything that he thought was like, okay, I can take this magic and I can incorporate this into our scientific stuff. I can make this world better.
Right.
I can make everything,
all for the greater good.
and he starts to do that. But then things start to go kind of like left field.
Yeah, it is so crazy, you guys, how these technologies of the time and how the Piltover Council was influenced and the people on the council, and then you look at the world of Zon, how they have their own hierarchy in the quote-unquote underworld, and even then Jinx was a threat. So the visualization and how they're talking about, dealing with the whole battle. There was a battle, the Bridge of Progress, but you have to watch it, and it shows how that shaped Vi, how it shaped Jinx, and how both worlds are being brought together by this crazy thing called magic. Some people did not believe at all. There were others that thought that it was a danger. And as we went along the first season, doing the 3-episode rule, that first season was magic. That first season was magic, y'all. The visuals are stunning. The way that they developed Vi's character, and even Jinx, the mental aspect, the hurt and the feel, it is so freaking good. I have a friend who never watches anime. She is a podcast person. I mean, she loves the Joe Budden podcast. Shout out to Joe Budden. Every time we talk, she's watching or listening to that podcast or doing other things that, kind of benefit her and her family and her business. But she actually told me, she was like, okay, I've been watching this thing called Arcane. Have you heard of it? I'm like, yes. Something that her son turned her on to. And I was just so surprised, because usually when you watch an anime, or when I watch an anime such as Arcane, the steampunk element, it doesn't really work for me. But this one, it was the visuals. The visuals, it just made it all come together.
Well, not only is it just the steampunk, it also adds in a lot of the street style with the graffiti, the colors, and everything else like that. It was cool. And also, it was great. It presented the ladies, which are the central cast or the main focus on the story. It didn't present them as, we're the super tough elite for no particular reason women. It brought in their backstory and show how they went through this training and learning to actually make them very viable, understandable characters.
Yeah, they're very engaged. It's like the backstories of the characters, it's like you bought in. Now, I will say that with Arcane, you bought into the story, you bought into everything that was going on, and the rest of the stuff is just secondary. One of the things that got me was the soundtrack. It was just like, okay, all right. Gems left and right. But looking at how the characters and their storylines and what happened to them from the people in Piltover, we talk about Victor, we talk about Jace, what got them to where they were, and how Victor, undergoing everything that he went through, the transformations and things like that, Vi, the decisions that she had to make based on, loyalty to people of Zon and loyalty to her sister, and a new love that she's encountering, with the daughter of one of the council members. So it runs the gamut. You are so bought in, or you're so caught up in their stories, that when you actually see what's going on with the magic and with the technology, it's actually kind of secondary.
And this anime also brings in people of color. And one of the things that I liked about it, it didn't do it in a way where it feels like they're shoehorned in. Because they have different little, I don't want to call them magical characters, but different little beast men or different people from different continents. Some of them look like animals, some of them look like, I don't even know what to call it. And the way that they bring the story in, especially with these additional characters, nothing feels shoehorned in. It all feels organic to the story. And
we have seen a lot of anime, you guys, in our years. And for this one to be as, again, I use the term engaging as it was, and it's only 2 seasons. There are only 2 seasons, premiered in 2021. Those episodes, I want to say there were 8 episodes apiece. Each episode was good. I mean, like I said, the visual is really what got me, because at first I was like, this is not gonna work. It's based on a game, and it was actually done by, I think it's Fortiche. You pronounce it Fortiche. It's a French animation studio. There has been a lot of debate on whether or not this show is considered an anime because it wasn't created or based in anything in Japan or in the US. But, it was written and created, specifically by certain people who, hey, let's, instead of doing it this way, let's try it another way. And that was, being in the Riot Games universe, League of Legends, and letting Riot Games have a say in that. Do you know in 2021 that Arcane was the most watched animated series on Netflix?
Okay, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, it was like within a week of its premiere, and I actually looked it up. Within a week of it premiering in November 2021, that was the number one show on Netflix.
Okay.
And it topped Netflix topped the charts for Netflix top 10 in 52 countries. And we were ready for that second season.
Yeah.
The second and final season, you guys, is already here. It premiered this year. No, I'm sorry, it's 2025. It premiered in 2024. I gotta get it together. It premiered in 2024. This anime, Arcane, this adult animation series is so good. It won Emmys. This is an Emmy-winning show. And it was in 2022. Outstanding animation achievement, and it is well deserved. Now, the one thing I didn't like, everybody knows I have a thing about, when you make kids like tweens and young, like those under 17, 16, when you turn them into know-it-alls that are just too cool for school. They just know so much. All adults are stupid. They just, they're the smartest individual in the room. I hate stuff like that.
Okay.
However, Arcane, they had that formula working with Jinx, but instead of me looking at it like, this is not it. It was so well written. It was so well written. You cannot help but you can't help but root for damn near everybody that's on this show, whether they are a hero or have villainous intent or just a part of a backstory. Arcane is definitely one that I would recommend for the non-anime enthusiast. I think it's a great story that reaches past just anime fandom or something with animation. I think it's great.
Yeah, if you're a video game lover, you're going to check it out anyway.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So, like the ranking, what did you give it?
I gave it a 9. The only reason that I gave it a 9, I would actually like to see a continuation of this, even if it's not with these specific characters. Just continue along with the series. It's good.
Right. And this is definitely one of the shows, not necessarily an anime, but it's definitely it's the argument. Is it an anime? Is it, just an adult animated series? But it's definitely one to watch, and it has most definitely contributed to the growth and popularity of games, manga, and anime series. So yeah, we would definitely, here at Eat the Cake Anime, Arcane,
check it out.
Yeah, a great popular one, and it's available on Netflix only. I haven't seen it anywhere else.
Yeah, I think it's an exclusive.
Yeah, so everyone, if you have Netflix, just look it up. You'll see it. The animation, it may put you off, it may turn you on, but the story, give it one episode. You don't even have to do the 3-episode rule. Give it one episode and tell us what you think. We think you would really, really like it. So yeah, I think that's all we have for this review segment. Anything else for it, babe?
Please continue to tell us more anime that you want us to review.
Yeah.
Continue to tell us more anime just to check out.
And we've actually, some of the suggestions we've already seen. We've actually, you guys, been going back and looking at these shows and like, oh yeah, I remember that, or that was really good. Let's talk about that. Or we look at it and be like, nah. We try not to be naysayers. So we know we've done some different reviews where we just would not recommend it, but we try at Eat the Cake Anime to make sure to run the gamut, not just on the ones we love, but the ones that may be more someone else's speed. Yeah, so we'll do that. So I think that's all we have. So until next time, thank you guys so much for joining us. Continue to like, comment, and subscribe. We're available everywhere you get your podcast. And until next time, don't forget, it is okay here at Eat the Cake Anime. It's okay to enjoy anime.